Hello vegan adventurers, welcome to the exciting video. In today's vlog we'll go on Santorini island vacation with my family. We'll do different exciting adventure activities like snorkeling, cliff jumping, windsurfing. Also gonna enjoy some beautiful sunsets. So let's get into the vlog. Right, so first days we spent going to different beaches like this Eros beach, and you can see the environment is very dry here, mostly rocky with only little bushes growing here and there. And Santorini is actually a volcano that has a caldera around the sea, and it actually erupted sometimes in the 16th century before Christ. So most of our time was just enjoying ourselves on the beaches, swimming around, and also playing games like chess. Way back from the beach, we're enjoying this beautiful sunset on the edge of caldera. For my mom's birthday, we went to this vegan restaurant called Five Senses, which is the only vegan restaurant on the whole island. It's also very expensive, but they have a nice view from here and interesting recipes. Over here we're exploring the historical town of Pirgosh, which has amazing view on both sides of the island. You can also see here the famous blue roof churches. People usually go to towns of Fira or Ia to see the blue roof churches because you have also cliffs there. However, there are so many people there that you're not even gonna have place to take a picture, especially during the sunset. And here we are again catching this amazing sunset of Santorini, this time with the buildings of old town of Pirgosh. Right, and over here we're the next day at the end of Kamari beach, where we're gonna try some windsurfing. Actually wanted to do windsurfing already a few days earlier, but they told us the wind was too strong, especially the waves were too big. So they told us it is a rental place that we should wait a few days, and now we are going for it. Even though the rental was quite expensive, they have a really good equipment. They also give you a walkie-talkie, tell you what you need to do in case you're in trouble. So the wind was really good on this day. I guess the wind is really consistent on any Greek island. I managed to go into slide a few times, but every time I do that, it just blew me down the wind too much. And I had to walk with the surf up the beach for a few minutes until I got back to the rental place. But overall it was a great experience, and especially for my mom and my brother Andre, who are more enthusiastic about windsurfing. Whoa! Wow!
Mother was windsurfing,
Yeah.
and then she didn't have nothing to put, and she didn't have keys from the apartment. So she just naked went to the shop and bought a dress.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright, and over here we're swimming and snorkeling near the red beach, where you have these interesting red rock cliff formations, which are probably formed by the lava flow after the eruption of the volcano in the 15th century, before Jesus Christ. We discovered this little tunnel which you could swim through and then come out on the other side, but we're a little bit scared because there was some tide coming in and also it was quite narrow, so we're scared that we're gonna get stuck. But at the end my brother Marek just went for it and swam through without any issues, which was a big adventure. So it's incredible how first you're so scared to go through something, but once you do it, it just becomes a routine and you're not scared anymore. But you still have to be careful not to kick the side walls, which could be really hurting. And just a little bit farther away from the tunnel, we discovered this little sea cave, which we just thought first that just finishes here. But then we realized you could squeeze through this little passage, and then there was another room which was big enough to fit at least 5 people. And even though the water sea is very clear, we didn't see many big fish while snorkeling. So apart from Red Cliff Beach, there's also a White Cliff Beach, which is also near, but you have to swim there or take a boat ride or kayak there. Looks even more impressive than this Red Cliff Beach. You also have more sea caves there. Unfortunately, I didn't have a GoPro with me to record it, but I highly recommend it if you come to Santorini. Right, and over here we are swimming and kayaking around this big hill with cliffs that's connecting the Kamari and Perisa beaches. This is another activity that I highly recommend. You have to be quite a strong swimmer to make it, especially in a strong wind and big waves. However, even during the strong winds, the Perisa side it's quite windless. You can enjoy the clear deep water here with amazing cliffs that you can also climb on if you're a good climber, and then you can also jump from them. Over here, me and my brothers decided to climb this quite steep cliff, and it was actually pretty hard even for me, who I thought is a good climber, but my brothers totally smoked me here. I didn't know there are such adventurous spirits. Once we got all up safely, it was time for the cherry on the top to jump down. Alright, and after amazing cliff jumping with my brothers, me and Sanya decided to go for a hike in the evening as it was not so hot anymore. Pretty much wanted to hike back to Kamari beach from Pirgosh beach through this mountain pass. In about 20 minutes of hiking, we got to this Orthodox church, which was located underneath these steep cliffs. See guys, there's no trees growing here except a few of these little pine trees. It's really windy here and really dry. It only rains here like for a couple times a year during the winter time, and then it's just dry. Alright, and as we're getting more up, closer to the pass, we're reading these tables about the ancient town of Tera that was located here about 8th century before Christ. In the 20th century, they also excavated some cemetery here. Right, in just about a few minutes, we got up to this saddle or mountain pass between two hills, and you can also get up here with a car from Kamari beach, which we're getting the view of right now, and we plan to descend there as we have accommodation there. Archaeological site of ancient Tera. In the 17th century before Christ, a tremendous volcanic eruption destroys the prehistoric city in Akrotiri and interrupts life on the island, which remains deserted for centuries. A small coastal settlement dated around 12th century BC proves that the island is re-inhabited at the end of prehistoric age. In the 8th century BC, during the historic times, Kalisti, as it was called then, was inhabited by Dorian settlers from Sparta. And over here we got to the entrance of the ancient Tera archaeological site, but it says it's closed at 3:30. I'm not sure why they put such a bad time here. Nobody wants to explore archaeological site during the biggest heat of the day. As we're descending down to Kamari beach, we can see some remnants on the rocks of the ancient Tera civilization. We notice there is more of these pine trees alongside the zigzag road that goes to Kamari beach, because there is more shade here in the later part of the day, so the trees don't dry up so quickly. Alright, and over here we descended down to this cave, which has also a spring inside, called Zodochos Pigi. The natural spring in the cave-like opening of the limestone bedrock of Prophetess Ilias was the main water source for the city of ancient Terra, as well as for the entire island. The cave, which measures 26 meters long, is known as Zodochos Pigi, after the chapel of the same name situated at its entrance. In the antiquity, the spring was connected to ancient Terra via the main road leaving the city towards the north. Parts of the ancient way survive today, slightly lower than the modern path which passes in the front of the spring. And over here we see some bolts in these rocks, so I guess this is a popular place for climbing. Alright, so we just descended from down here into a Kamari town onto the main roads. The hotels are just here, but there is no sign indicating where the hike starts. So if you don't have something like Maps.me application, it will be really hard to find this spot. So I guess there is not much hiking culture in Greece either. Alright, and over here you can see how we descended from up there in the saddle all the way alongside the ridgeline until the cave. Alright, and here we're on our last day exploring the Kataros beach, which is near the town of Oya, which, as I mentioned before, is a touristic hotspot on the island because of the cliffs with the white houses and the blue roof churches. I was not really impressed with the Kataros beach because there was no shade or umbrellas for rent. So instead we just decided to walk along the Oya port until the place where there should be some cliff jumping. Right, and in about 15 minutes we got to this place with the cliffs and people just sitting all over the rocks because there is not really any beach. This place also didn't have any shade, but we didn't care because it was already in the afternoon, so the sun was not so strong anymore. And either way, we spent most of the time swimming around this little island and also cliff jumping from this rocky platform. Alright, and in the evening we wanted to enjoy sunset on the cliffs of Oya town, but there are people literally everywhere taking all the places where you could get some good view of the sunset with the white houses. So all we got was the sunset with people at some restaurant. So these cliffs with white houses is the main attraction of Santorini, and there are just so many people here that I don't think it's worth it for us to visit here anymore. I mean, it looks nice, but I would rather avoid the crowds and go somewhere in the nature. I hope you guys enjoyed this vacation with my family in Santorini Island. Stay tuned for more videos, and as always, stay healthy
and stay adventurous.